Hey, what's up, snipers? Sniper Nick here, and tonight we're actually going to go over the first watch list for April 2020. Welcome, April. It's been a crazy start for the first quarter of 2020. We actually just wrapped it up today. It's historically one of the worst first quarters in the stock market history, which is wild, and wild enough here in the Sniper Lounge with the Sniper Gang, being in front of this monitors and zoning in with the team. We're actually able to pull out one of our best months in March 2020. So that's going to be exciting to talk about on the webinar Wednesday. Excited to dive into that with the team. But for tonight, we're going to go into the watch list for tomorrow, which is Wednesday, April 1st. So real quick before I dive in, I do want to go over one of the stocks we were in overnight, which is QBIO. We were able to profit a little bit over 100 on QBIO, and a lot of people from the group actually was able to profit just little gains on it. However, keeping your eye on it, end up coming in clutch because it did make the move that we were looking for to make Power Hour yesterday, today. So let me show you as an example. We grabbed it in Power Hour, and what we wanted to see was a push into the close and then a gap up in the morning. Now, we did get a little bit of push in the morning, but there really was no volume, so we took the profits. This is yesterday. Unfortunately, it couldn't make it up past that high, so we took some profits here. However, if you kept your eye on it, check this out. Coming into today, at the end of the day, it gets that high over 2, which is what we were looking for. It was that key spot and long-term resistance. You can check it out on yesterday's watch list at stocksnipers.com. My boy Sniper Jared took full advantage and was able to snipe this. And you see this, it gets a pop from 2, ends up closing at 228. It's a little bit above 15% into the close. That's the kind of moves that we're looking for. It's a cool part about these stocks. They got big potential in them. So keep an eye out for each and every one of these. Whatever ones we talk about on the watch list, if the plays don't come out to fruition right away, put them on your personal watch list, on your TD watch list or whatever broker you use. And these stocks always come back. So keep an eye on each one. I think the first two we're going to talk about are stocks we've actually traded before, and they're back on the list. So let's go ahead and let's dive into tonight's watch list for Wednesday, April 1st. First stock on the list, IPIX. IPIX is an OTC COVID-19 recent spiker. As you can see, it had some big spikes here and here that got a big gain today with volume. Had no news, but it had nice volume today. So we're watching for potential panic dip buy tomorrow morning if the sellers do come in, or a continuation if this does hold and grind again for one more day, because it is coming close to some long-term resistance. We always like to look at it from the long-term chart first. And when we talk about potential panic dip buys, we're looking for quick moves here. Just like the move we played on CYDY on Monday, where the push got so overextended that when it cracked super hard. It cracked over $1 on the downside. We were actually able to take full advantage. We got a video here. Yeah, check this out. Boom. So we're in, trying to get that push, and boom. That's it. Now, that's obviously really sped up, but that happened pretty quickly in the morning on Monday. This shows the potential of these panic dip buys and how quick you can get some good percentage on your money. We do want to see this one hold and get another grind for our longs here for a potential second green day around that long-term resistance. However, if the sellers do come in and it does panic tomorrow, we're looking at these key spots down here at 10 and 8.6, 8.8. IPIX was on the radar 2 weeks ago because they came out with COVID-19 related news. They said they're going to test out their SARS drug, which came out a while ago, and they're going to try to use that in COVID-19 patients. So that one has had hype since that news article, and it's really had some wild candles since then. Next one on the list, check that out. One that came back up on the radar, CYDY. This OTC stock, and now it's actually on the short watch. This one made its move to us. We want to see it make one more push, ideally for us to get a nice short. But since it is holding that second green day, if it does get a third green day, we are watching this closely for a short. So let's talk about CYDY and why we're looking into it as a short. So as you can see, wild move over this 167 high a year on Monday. Okay, this one has been pumping out COVID-19 news since Friday. They've been trying to get the juices going. They've been trying to get moving. As you can see, it had a nice day Friday. And then Monday morning gets this huge, over 100% gap up and a push from that gap up all the way from the 220s to 350. So wild morning. They did actually come out with more news Monday morning on COVID. And then today, they came out with another set of news articles. So they got some pumpers behind this, trying to keep this up. However, as you can see, today's candle couldn't really hold. So it does look like it's getting a little exhausted here. This was that wild run up, and this was the video we just watched on this panic dip by here. We got a quick bounce. It did get another gap up, and it grinded all day today. Got up to 310 and made that resistance there, and then kind of fizzled out throughout the day. Now, we really wanted to see it hold, so that way tomorrow morning it could gap up and potentially test 310 and then that 350 spot. The higher it goes, the juicier the short's going to be. However, it looks like the downside kind of started already. As you can see, power hour, when it cracked VWAP, it went all the way from 290 to 266. So it already got a pretty big dip. But we're still keeping it on the radar because you never know with these wild stocks. This one could get a gap up again, as you saw it did today. Ideally, that happens. And if it does, we're going to be really eyeing any push here, any kind of spike into this 310 resistance or that 350 resistance. Those two are key spots to watch, and they'll be very telling on the third green day to see when the downside is going to come in. Next one on the list, another OTC stock. So let's go. 3 OTC stocks in a row. And this is actually the first publicly traded psychedelic stock. Wild. So that's what OTC market is. Like we said here, it's really the wild Amazon jungle of the stock market. They have companies from all angles, and it really makes it really interesting to dive into these stocks and look into it. As you can see here, MMEDF, it's fairly a new stock. It actually had its second best volume day today. Okay, so that interests us. And it was also approaching a key resistance spot of 60. And we really want to see it push and break that multi-month resistance spot of 60 in power hour. They came out with a news article this morning, the reason why they got this spike, that their psychedelic, MDMA psychedelic, is actually in phase 3 testing for PTSD. So pretty interesting to see, pretty interesting just to talk about this stock in general. And it's cool to see that it's lining up with one of our patterns. So we're going to keep an eye on this one. Again, that trading range is 53 and 60. We want to see some good volume come in to get this one moving. It looks like that's what it really needs. And that 60 spot is key. Now keep in mind, guys, we aren't in any rush. It does have to create some more support for us. We would ideally like to see some more early support in the morning before it really gets that volume to get ramped up, because it has come a long way on the long-term chart. Just on Friday, it was down here in the low 30s. You always want to keep the long-term chart in mind. So even if the 1 day, 1 minute is looking nice, it's always key to take a step back and look where this thing has came from. A lot of these penny stocks are on wild runs, and this is just one. You know, it came all the way up from 31. So it does have that key multi-month resistance where it's hanging out around 60. But we do want to see some good support come in to make sure we have a good risk set. And then the next high is that all-time high of 74. So let's check out what MMEDF could do. Let's get some volume, MMEDF. And last but not least, we always like to keep one wildcard play on the plate. And our wildcard play for the night is CTSO, a low float listed stock that came out with news today, and they closed at their highs, and it's nearing its 52-week breakout. So you can see closed at 773, and its 52-week breakout is 785. So right next to it. We dive into the 1 day, 1 minute, and it does have some nice support around 745, so that's a key spot for it to hold. They did come out with news today as well, showing that their blood purification technology got approved in Mexico, and it actually held that 17% into the close from that news. This is a 30 mil float, relatively lower, and it is nearing that 52-week breakout, one of our sweet spots that we like to watch, especially when it's got some support around it. So let's keep an eye. Again, it's our wild card pick of the night. The next resistance after that 785 is 860 back in 2019. All right, snipers, thanks for tuning in. Like always, we've had an awesome first quarter with you guys. It's been super exciting, just meeting new people. Gang that's always with us on every webinar, in and out. You guys are crushing it, man. Big shout out to Sauce Boy, Sniper Jared, Sniper Christina, Victoria's Secrets, JMO, our boy Johnny, always coming up with some good topics. By the way, we're gonna have a good panic dip buy video for you on that CYDY review. We're looking forward to the rest of 2020. There's some bright times coming. We're always gonna find it together. Let's keep on rolling, guys, and we'll see you guys in the chat early tomorrow. Much love, snipers. We'll see you guys.